Mitch McConnell, the senior senator from Kentucky and a leader of the Republican Senate Conference since 2007. And not just the longest serving Republican Senate leader, but the longest serving Senate leader of any party in U.S. history. However, after the November election, Mitch McConnell will be stepping away as leader of the Republican Senate Conference, as he announced back in February. McConnell will stay in the Senate until at least 2026, which is when his current term ends. However, with McConnell stepping away from his leadership role, the question then becomes, who will replace him? Currently, there are 3 Republican senators officially running to replace McConnell as their party's leader in the Senate: John Thune, John Cornyn, and Rick Scott. John Thune is the senior U.S. Senator from South Dakota, first being elected to the Senate in 2005, and is by far no stranger to Senate leadership. In 2006, when Thune had been in the Senate for less than 2 years, the Republican whip at the time, Trent Lott, picked Thune to be his chief deputy. Following this, Thune served as the vice chairman of the Republican Conference, then served as chairman of the Republican Policy Committee, and in 2011 was elected as chair of the Republican Conference, the third most powerful position in the Senate Republican Conference behind leader and whip. Thune actually would be elected Republican whip, the second most powerful position in his conference in 2019, after John Cornyn, who we will be talking about soon, was term limited out of the position, and Thune has served in the role ever since. Thune announced his intent to succeed McConnell back in March, but despite Thune's extensive leadership experience in the Senate, there may be one key challenge to him becoming the new Republican leader, and that challenge is Donald Trump. Back in 2020, Thune criticized Trump's efforts to overturn the election, which led to Trump calling for Thune to be primaried by South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem in the 2022 midterms. This ultimately never happened, but since the start of Trump's presidency back in 2017, Thune, who is often viewed as an establishment Republican, has had to walk a careful line between his own views and policy and the views of Trump and his movement. In 2018, Thune opposed Trump's efforts to withdraw the U.S. from NAFTA and also opposed his tariffs. And even during this election season, Thune has publicly criticized Trump's proposals for new tariffs if he was to win the White House in 2024. Despite this, however, Thune has endorsed Trump for 2024, and the one thing that is bound to help Thune's case in becoming the next leader of his conference is his fundraising ability. Thune recently transferred a record $4 million in campaign funds to the National Republican Senatorial Committee, the body of Senate Republicans responsible for getting Republican candidates elected and re-elected to the Senate. And this breaks Thune's previous $2 million record that he set in 2016. Considering that Senate Republicans are worried about how far they are behind their Democratic colleagues in terms of fundraising, Thune's fundraising definitely should encourage some of his fellow Republicans to cast their vote for Thune to be the next leader. Moving on, we have John Cornyn, the senior senator from Texas being elected in 2002. Cornyn, like Thune, is no stranger to Senate GOP leadership. As previously mentioned, Cornyn was actually Thune's predecessor as the Republican whip, first being elected to the position in 2013 and serving until 2019, the end of his 6-year term in the position. Throughout his time in the Senate, Cornyn has been a pretty reliable Republican vote, but would receive serious flack from his party, especially among voters back in 2022, for voting yes on the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the piece of gun legislation passed in response to the Uvalde shooting in Cornyn's state of Texas. Cornyn was actually a key part in getting the legislation passed, which would actually result in him being booed at the Texas GOP convention that same year by voters. It remains to be seen whether this will impact Cornyn's attempts to become the next leader, but considering the more right-wing members of the Republican conference, including Mike Lee of Utah and Josh Hawley of Missouri, already have a set of demands for the next leader, which include not compromising with Democrats, it could hurt Cornyn's chances. On the other hand, Cornyn has endorsed putting term limits on the leadership position, which is another demand from some of the more right-wing members of his party. Finally, we have Rick Scott, the junior senator from Florida, first being elected in 2019. While Thune and Cornyn have prior leadership experience, Scott does not. Remember, he's only been in the Senate since 2019. That's infancy compared to how long Thune and Cornyn have served. However, out of the three candidates, Scott is the closest to Trump, and with him not being part of past leadership, this actually may benefit him. Scott actually ran against McConnell to try and become the next leader back in 2022, but only received 10 votes from his conference. This time around, McConnell is not running, and Scott may be the favorite among the more conservative members of his conference, not only because of his connection to Trump, but unlike Thune and Cornyn, Scott, again, has never been a part of McConnell's leadership team. Remember, senators like Hawley and Mike Lee have put together demands for the next leader, much of which not only stems from only their gripes with just McConnell himself, but with Republican leadership as a whole. That would include Thune, who has served as McConnell's number 2 in the whip position since 2019, and to a lesser extent Cornyn, who was Thune's predecessor in the position. Out of the three candidates, Scott is probably Trump's favorite, seeing how Trump has already backed him in the past to become Republican leader, and Trump has already seen what happens when there is a Republican leader in the Senate who is willing to break with him on policy, legislation, and other issues. That is what happened with McConnell. And in the case that Trump wins the White House in 2024, he is going to want much more of a loyalist in the position of Senate Republican leader for a potential second term. But it remains to be seen who will actually replace McConnell as the Republican leader. Will it be Thune? Will it be Cornyn? Will it be Scott? We'll just have to wait and see until after the election. Make sure to like the video, folks. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you never miss out on an upload. We will be uploading to this channel every Wednesday and Friday. You won't want to miss out. So I guess until Friday, guys, Real Politics is out.